Switzerland. Not just a country, but a federation, a collection of 26 states called cantons. What sets them apart and what makes them alike? Do you know? Now's your chance to find out. Today we're gonna talk about Valais. Once again, a million thanks to Gabriel Frund for helping me out with the research. Hello, and welcome to 7 Facts. The canton of Valais is a southwestern French-speaking state of Switzerland. The wide glacial Rhône valley dominates the area, and the mighty Alps poke the skies everywhere you look. 50 of the Valais mountains exceed 4,000 meters, so this place is an uncontested prime destination for tourists. Don't believe me? Well, this canton alone has more than 120 winter and summer resorts, some of them, like Cans Montana and Zermatt, being among the most popular in the entire country. The 350,000 people of Valais live in one of the prettiest and most prosperous regions on the entire European continent. Valais' history is long and quite complicated. Starting from 57 BC, it became part of the Gallo-Roman political sphere, and from that moment on, the story becomes complicated and maybe a bit boring. You know what isn't boring, and frightening at the same time? Witch hunts. The Valais witch trials took place beginning in 1428 and from there spread to the German-speaking regions and eventually to the rest of Europe. These trials were among the initiators of witch trials and witch burnings in medieval Europe. Although occasional burning of witches is recorded in Switzerland since the beginning of the 15th century, the Valais trials of 1428 are the first event in which the accusation of sorcery led to a systematic persecution with hundreds of victims. The trials continued for several years more, well into the 1430s. The number of victims is unknown, but ranges in the hundreds. Before we get to the next fact, I'd like to ask you one thing. This video isn't sponsored, so perhaps you'd consider supporting this channel by becoming a patron. If you still enjoy my content, go visit my Patreon page and help this channel out. Now let's get to fact number 3. Sion is the capital city of Valais. Historically, this is one of the most important prehistoric sites in Europe. It's been almost continuously settled since 6200 BC, so archaeologists and historians love this place. Its name has got nothing to do with the Jewish concept of Zion, but is derived from the Latin designation sedunum. Today, without a doubt, the first thing you're going to notice is the Valais Basilica, a large fortified church from the 11th century. Once you get over that, you'll get to enjoy the rest of the city. And there's plenty to enjoy. The entire town of Sion and the village of Bramois are both part of the inventory of Swiss heritage sites. One of the most iconic mountain peaks in Europe is in Valais, Matterhorn. This pyramid-shaped mountain has been used in countless paintings, books and poster ads, and in a way has become a synonym for Switzerland. The dark side of the story is that Matterhorn is one of the deadliest mountains in the world. Around 500 alpinists died here trying to reach its top. In fact, the very first ascent of the Matterhorn in 1865 ended with 4 of the 7 members falling to their deaths. Nowadays though, this mountain is a prime destination for tourists. The mountain overlooks the Swiss town of Zermatt, one of the most visited ski resorts in the Swiss Alps. So it's obvious that Matterhorn is a must-visit site, just don't go climbing it. One of the largest and most beautiful dog breeds comes from Valais, the Saint Bernard. They were originally bred for rescue by the Hospice of the Great Saint Bernard Pass on the Italian-Swiss border. The hospice, built by and named after Italian monk Bernard of Menton, acquired its first dogs between 1660 and 1670. But they aren't just rescue dogs, they're actually more used as livestock guardians, herding and hunting dogs. But it's their rescue tales that made them so famous and beloved. It has to be noted that in the early days, the dogs never received any special training from the monks. Instead, younger dogs would learn how to perform search and rescue operations from older dogs. By the way, they didn't carry those small barrels of brandy around their necks. The monks of Saint Bernard deny this, and it's anyway medically unsound to give alcohol to hypothermic victims. This image was developed after an 1820 painting by Edwin Landseer that was later popularized by television shows. 250 million years ago, a herd of dinosaurs left their footprints in the Vieux-Émosson Valley. At that time, that place was just a sandy beach, but thanks to plate tectonics, the Earth's crust broke and forced a new mountain range to rise upwards. 800 dinosaur footprints now reside at an altitude of 2,400 meters in the Vieux-Émosson Valley. Each and every one of those footprints was made by a living, breathing dinosaur, and we get to see them with our very own eyes. One of the coolest places to visit in Valais is Sion. This is a small alpine village with nothing extraordinary to offer, except for its fairy chimneys. Named the Pyramids of Osigne, they are small natural rock formations 10 to 15 meters tall, crowned by a large stone. They might look peculiar, but their formation is well explainable. Glaciers grind up and carry lots of rocks and debris that form a layer of moraines. These are loose and relatively unstable soils. When the glaciers melted, the moraines were exposed to the elements and started deteriorating. But wherever there were large heavy rocks, fairy chimneys started to form. The large heavy rocks protected the moraine by compressing the underlying layer, thus forming the pyramid-like shape. By the way, the Osigne pyramids are up to 80,000 years old, so you simply have to check them out. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. Leave your comments downstairs and don't forget there's a Patreon page where you can support this channel. I hope to see you next time. Bye.